Hi, I'm Curtis, and I'm here to tell you about a homebrew cat feeding robot that my wife and I made. I know, it's very exciting. You may be wondering why we wanted to do this thing. If you have pets of your own, you probably know already. Now, the problem is not actually the cats themselves, right? It's feline behavior, because cats are a little OCD to start with. They each have their own personalities. We have two cats, two boys. Jasper is a tiny prince who likes to sleep. And Ty thinks he's a dog and will eat everything in sight if we let him. So we can't really leave a pile of food around when we leave the house or go on a trip or something, because they're not both going to eat the right amount. So what do we do about this? We did not start the process saying, let's build a robot, although that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say or do. We just wanted some kind of system that would get the cats to eat. And when I say robot, I don't mean anything as fancy or sophisticated as any of these guys. We didn't make some kind of Cylon cat to infiltrate their ranks and persuade them to eat on a regular schedule or anything like that. What I'm talking about when I say robot is just a very simple system, very simple hardware driven by very basic automation. And that's a robot. That's all you need. And we're lazy people, so we wanted to do the least amount of work required to get this to work. And all we have is this. And honestly, most of these parts are things we already had around the house. The only part we bought special was the aquarium feeder, which is run on this analog timer. We had the webcam already. We had the netbook, the TV tray, the lamp, the power strips, the blue tape. Use a lot of blue tape. We had the bowls, the bookends. Now, we did have to make this custom ramp. And as you see, there was some design work and some materials research that went into this. But again, stuff we already had around the house. And there was a lot of trial and error. You'll notice these bumpers aren't in the original design. There's also a web app component, so we can monitor the cats when we're away. We can see if they're eating or not. We can get live video. We have a lightweight text interface in case we're in a low bandwidth situation, like on a cruise or something. We'll talk about that later, but this is what we want to see. The feeder makes a noise. The cats come out because they know they're going to get fed. They wait for the food. They eat the food. They both eat, and they leave. Everyone's happy. Life is good. It took us about 1.5 years to get to where we are today, and it was a lot of trial and error, because in the beginning, we had no idea. We didn't know what the cats were going to put up with. It turns out they don't like sharing a bowl, so we need 2 bowls, hence the ramp, and we need a barricade between the bowls so they don't crowd each other while they're eating. They're very particular about that. But by the end of 2010, this is what we had, and this was very stable. It worked great until we went on the cruise, and then the cats did everything they could to starve themselves. First, Ty's got to run the house. He can play anywhere. He decides he needs to play right by the feeder. So he messes up the rugs. He knocks the bowls out of alignment. He knocks things into the bowls, but it's okay because we can see this. We can call the cat sitter who's coming in once a day to scoop their box, tell her to pull the rugs, reset the system. Problem solved. 2 days later, new problem. Ty rips the ramp out of its housing. Food is no longer going in the bowls at all. It's going into the moat. No one's eating. 12 hours, call the sitter, back to 1. 2 more days, and the cats start bumping the feeder again and eventually knock it over completely. Now, the good news is that after all this, we were able to diagnose and correct all those problems. So the feeder gets taped down, the ramp gets reinforced, and since last January, this has been a stable system. The only new hardware we've added is the loudspeaker to amplify the food noise so that Jasper can hear it when he's sleeping in the other room and wake up and come eat. Like that. So this is what we have today, and it's very stable, and it works. How do we know it works? Well, if I'm the engineer, my wife is a scientist, so we weigh the cats every week. We collect data on how they're eating. Wait for it. We can see if the cats are gaining or losing weight at the same rate, that means they're both eating, and that's what we want. That's what we like to see. But even more than the data, when we hear the noise and we see the boys come out and they're waiting by the feeder, that makes us happy because we have trained them to love the food robot, or at least put up with it. So as I said, it's not a very sophisticated system. I'm happy to give details if you want to contact me. But you can build your own food robot. You can make a better robot, one that's customized to your household needs. And if you do, we would love to see your cat pictures. Thank you.